On this episode, what we're going to try to take care of is installing our Mishimoto oil cooler, our radiator, our AAM intake, and we're going to hopefully try to get this car started pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear it run and hopefully not explode. Alright, so I'm ready to install our 19-row Mishimoto oil cooler. I just watched the instructional video on my iPhone, and it's actually really good. It's very thorough. They don't supply instructions, you just go to the website and watch the video. And that showed me how to bolt on these 3 mounting brackets. There's a 4th bracket here that mounts over onto one of the side rat support area. You have to take the horn out and put one of their brackets on for the horn. And now that I've done all that, I'm ready to bolt the cooler up. So I'm just going to crawl under here, show you a little plumber's crack, and get this guy mounted up. The Mishimoto brackets all line up perfectly with the bolt holes they're designed to use, but because our car is an AP1, we did have to do some minor bending of the AC lines to clear the cooler and the brackets. Then it was just a matter of installing the 2 fully assembled braided stainless steel hoses that come with the kit. Following the instructions, I started by attaching the lines to the oil cooler and then struggling with my weird looking sausage fingers to attach the lines to the sandwich adapter on the block. After a few failed attempts, I finally got them threaded on and tightened them down with an AN fitting wrench. "19-row oil cooler install complete."
I'm about to get my install on with the Mishimoto Performance Aluminum Radiator, and if you watched the last episode, you'll know that I mentioned it's twice as thick as the stock guy. So, just to prove my point, if you have a look at this, you'll quickly understand why the Mishimoto radiator is the superior radiator, and it's just going to provide us with the extra amount of cooling we need for the racetrack.
Thanks to the ample amount of room in the S2000's engine bay, the Mishimoto radiator install is as hassle-free as they come. Same goes for the hoses. Both the upper and lower necks are easily reachable. I'm a big fan of the OEM Honda hose clamps, but man are they finicky. There we go. And here's me being a little OCD, making sure that Mishimoto logo is centered just right.
Bam! Next up on the install list, AAM's cold air intake. This bad boy's been proven to make horsepower on S2000s, and it's got a dry flow reusable airflow filter, and it comes with a full lifetime warranty just like all AAM intakes do. But most importantly, it's going to amp up our VTEC sound. And we love the VTEC. We love the VTECs, the Vitaruski, the VTECola.
You'd think after a decade of doing this, I'd learn my lesson. But no. Always read the instructions no matter how simple an install. Because in the case of this AAM intake, you need to remove the maze of tubing to install the coupler. There we go. Now we've got some progress. Yeah, nope. There we go. A few more connections plumbed, and we're done up here. Underneath, we'll need to fit AAM's 4-inch tube that runs in front of the subframe and over to the fender well. Using an existing hole, the intake is secured with a supplied rubber isolated mount. that's going to give the intake just enough give so that it can still move around freely. And for the finale, the piece de resistance, the high flow air filter. The VTEC Gods will be happy. So that's it for what was supposed to be the end of this episode. But
do you remember in a previous video where I said make sure to clean the mating surface and apply good amounts of silicone so you don't have a leak? Well, guess what happened? Yes, that right there is a leak. So, what does that mean? Well, I'm gonna have to pull the oil pan.
And eat my words, because just as I cautioned you, this job is a royal pita to do on your back and in a cramped space. Add 20 hex bolts that don't exactly want to come out since they're siliconed in place, and this is a recipe for another cursing session, which, surprisingly, I've started becoming very good at. On the bright side, at least the silicone was still somewhat fresh, so popping the pan off didn't prove as difficult as before. Wait for it. Oh, almost ate oil. That would have been a mess. Whoa, there it is. No silicone to be found. Time to fix that. First, there's the task of removing the old rubbery goo. I'm actually starting to get good at this. Of course, not by choice though. I'm not skimping out on the silicone this time around. Oh no. I used up what was left in that entire tube and then smeared it around to cover every last millimeter of exposed metal. Of course, it wouldn't go down, or should I say up, without a fight. It proved to be very finicky as the pump kept hitting the baffles, which prevented it from mounting up. Eventually though, I overcame the obstacle and got that sucker in place. It took another while longer to get all the bolts fastened up. However, I'm happy to report that the oil pan is officially leak-free. So we can finally wrap this episode up, and you can all make fun of me in the comments section for eating my own words. And here's where we're at with this episode's cost roundup. The Mishimoto parts and AAM intake total $1,451.99. As for resealing that Canton oil pan, well, that's just a royal pain in the ass. As for our running total, we're up to $16,871.19.
Ah! Damn it!